Well, when it comes to your reputation, perhaps yours precedes you, sometimes it can boil down to one personality trait. The personality trait of charisma. Oh yes, that is something that I think is common in our office in particular. There is a certain charisma that most of us possess. If you want to get in front of the camera, it's generally because you like it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to foster that. I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg thing.
Hard to say.
If you had it coming in or if you developed it once you got here. But yes, typically if you're going to be on TV, you have to have a little bit of that going on. Goes back a little bit to what we talked about in the opening segment of our show, and confidence. They're not exactly the same thing, but they're adjacent.
Yeah, I think you can be confident without being charismatic, but I think if you're a charismatic person, you are often confident, if that makes sense. But a Princeton study says that about 82% of how people see you is based on a mix of warmth, so like your likability, how people think they can trust you, and confidence and ability. People make that judgment call pretty fast, first deciding if you seem friendly, then if you're capable, and that shapes the overall image of you. So it's not just what you do, it's how you come across. And charisma is something that you actually can improve as well. That is something that can be worked on, and I feel like that is something that I've worked on, that I don't think I have always been the most warm person in a room, but I have worked on that a little bit.
It's just funny for me to hear you say that, because I've only been around you pretty much in the I'm Leah Rizzo, I've got confidence and charisma, and I'm out here on the couch. So the idea that you had to work on that is interesting. I think it's a good lesson for everybody at home, that it is a thing that can be worked on, because I've always assumed you had it.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of growing into, like, that's the person that I always wanted to be when I was a kid, but I never felt like I necessarily was. So I don't even know that I consciously worked on it per se, but it is something that I've definitely, and I think more of the confidence part, I think building the confidence built the charisma part hand in hand. But I will say this about charisma. Somebody who comes off as too charming, I'm immediately like, ooh, I don't know. It feels like you're trying to get something out of me,
It's a little too slick.
Too slick.
There is I know that my guys in the other room are going to laugh at me because I'm going to use a term here. It's a little bit of a parabola. So like there is a point of diminishing return where like good, and then people start to be weary of what are your real intentions here? Is this honest and sincere, or is this you putting on a show? That's the kind of thing that there is a maximum point, and then you can go too far and it becomes actually a detractor.
Yeah, and I think especially when, if you're in a new relationship and somebody seems just really too charming, like they are laying it on just a little too thick, that's for me like the little warning bells of I just don't know, this doesn't feel authentic. And I think it is a weird balance of authentic charisma and manufactured charisma, and where is that kind of line between the two?
Well, especially because you were talking about you worked on getting better at it. If you're in that phase of your life and you're working on it, you don't want to come off as the version that is
pickup artist
a little too far down that line. But until you learn where the balance is, that might be something that is a challenge. Or maybe a person that is innately actually is a little bit past that point has to work on dialing it back some. So it is interesting, because I think that a great example of this, it can be in dating, it can be in people you work with. There are some people that can say a thing and it's just fine. And then there's somebody else in the room that could say word for word the same thing, and it will not land, or it will not be perceived the same way.
It's true.
And charisma is a big part of that.
It is a big part of that, but I think it's such an interesting personality trait to me. I love talking about charisma, and again, sort of that balance of the right amount and then what's a little too much.
I weirdly think that this is where some of the red-pilled online manosphere stuff misses something. They think that you can get there by just saying this, that, or the other thing, or doing this, that, or the other thing. And maybe those things can help, but the amount of charisma somebody brings into the situation makes person A doing these 5 things completely different than person B doing the same 5 things. It's not a paint by numbers.
Yeah.
You can't just go, oh, this worked over here, so it can work for me if I do it exactly the same. You're not the same.
Yeah, and I think it's where that authenticity comes into place. So, like, if you're saying something just because you think it's going to make you more charismatic, but it doesn't really feel like you, then it's going to come off as a little off-putting, I think, as opposed to, I think, where that confidence, like when you build your confidence a little bit, your natural charisma, who you are, kind of comes out more, and people will be drawn to that, you know?
And it ebbs and flows over age, and I think it's really interesting, like, how that can change from like junior high to high school, and then how it can be different in college, how it can be different early in your working career, and then as you get older, suddenly there's like a specific kind of confidence and charisma that comes with like not caring about stuff as much, because you're talking about the authenticity.
Your 30s are freeing
like
for that.
There are different phases in everybody's life where these things ebb and flow.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. If you'd like to be a part of it, you can always chime in, team@coastlife.com. You can also always follow us along on our socials. But we got more Coast Life to get to. You're familiar with our chief meteorologist, Paul Williams. He's out there doing some good in the community. We've got a way that you can help out.